Alright, hello everyone, and I am going to be running Ciar Normal, not Ciar Beginner, but Ciar Normal, as kind of a guide for Ciar, Wizard Note that you run in G1. So Ciar Wizard Note is actually a bit easier than normal Ciar, mainly because it's shorter. However, the enemies are still all the same, so if you can fight the ones in Ciar Normal, you can fight the ones in Ciar Wizard Note. So this character has rank F of virtually every skill. I don't think he has any skill above F. But, he doesn't have every skill, but every skill he has rank F. So, Ciar posed a bit of a challenge for me in Wizard Note. And so I wanted to make a guide of how to run Ciar more effectively. First of all, the main opponent of Ciar is the Goblins. And they're very quick to aggro, and can do fairly high damage for, just for their level of difficulty. I mean, they can do fairly high damage compared to other stuff you'll find around Ciarcano. They have fairly low health though, so you should be able to keep them at bay. I mean, you should be able to kill them with one combo if you're using dual swords. If you're using something like a Warhammer, you may have to, you won't quite get there since it's only a one-hit weapon, and you only have 2 hits instead of the 6 you get with dual swords. So it'd probably be best just go with dual sword or something of that nature if you're a giant. Dual blunt weapons. If you're an elf using range, then it's a whole different category in its own, and your range should be of great aid to you. Now, the main problem is the Goblin Archers. There weren't any in that room. However, Goblin Archers will definitely spawn with Goblin Meleeers. And the problem that creates is that both the Goblin Archers and the Goblin Meleeers will both aggro you at the same time. And that can create quite a difficult situation, especially... Ooh, well, that's fancy. In Mabinogi, there's something called a lucky finish. Just might as well explain it because it just happened. Ow, that was a heavy critical there. And what that does is it. Okay, that was cheating. That was lag. Now I gotta get up and get my gold before. I'm gonna ask Nail for help because I want to test and make sure that those Nail Soulstones for the beginners actually get renewed each day. So I need to use one if I'm going to get it renewed. I believe you can have up to 3 at any one time. If you don't have 3, they'll give you one the next real life day. So I'm going to try to get this goal while the guy's coming at me. Counter him. And Salt Slash, finish him off. Alright, so anyway, there's something called Lucky Finish, which has a random chance of happening. But if it happens, when you finish the enemy, it'll give you a multiplied gold drop. I believe that there's a regular lucky finish, there's a big lucky finish, and there's a huge lucky finish. And I believe a lucky finish is like 2 times the gold, and a big lucky finish is something like 5 or 10 times the gold, and a huge lucky finish is something like 10 or 100 times the gold. However, you can only ever get a maximum of 21k, and if you do get the maximum of 21k, the gold will actually drop in the Celtic Knock symbol for Mabinogi. If you look at it, it's kind of a pixel art version of it. But anyway, so far I've only encountered Goblin Warriors, and these are fairly easy to handle, especially if you have Ice Bolt. Ice Bolt's pretty easy to use. As soon as you kill a Goblin, if you charge it, you can hit a Goblin and stun it, so you can easily get 2 hits in, or 2, you get a swing with each sword times 2, so you can usually get that in. And that allows you to not have to use defense to start getting a combo in, because you can just use the stun from Ice Bolt. So that's a very useful technique. And the thing about Goblins is they aggro you really fast, but they can multi-aggro you, but they don't do it incredibly fast. So as long as you're killing the ones that are aggroing you fairly quickly, you shouldn't have to deal with more than one of them unless there's archers in the room. Then that might pose some problem. However, they usually chain aggro you, which is as soon as you kill one, another one will aggro you, and it'll keep on going until they're all dead. But as long as you know that, you can react to it fairly easily with an easy Ice Bolt and then plus a normal weapon combo, as I'm doing now. So that's a fairly simple way to deal with Goblin meleeers. And archers, when they throw archers into the mix, is a bit tricky. And archers especially like to double aggro you. They'll double aggro you with another archer or a meleeer, and you'll have two monsters aggro you at the same time, two goblins. And the archer's range really supposed to be their greatest asset against you. Now, since I windmilled that guy, he didn't aggro me because windmill doesn't like to cause aggro too over much. But if I would have used another attack, you probably would have aggroed me. And see, I probably should have just used defense there instead of Ice Bolt, because I was getting really close and risky. But he ended up loading counter, so that stalled him long enough for me to get an Ice Bolt. That's another useful thing about Ice Bolt, is it does go through counter with no ill effects. And that's very useful. It will, however, defense, when goblins are in defense, they'll exhibit passive defense or magic, which means their stun, well, it's a low level passive defense, so their stun will be reduced a little bit, so you won't have quite as much time to get to them. So it might be better if they use defense to block your bolts. You might be better off with using a defensive skill like counter or defense, or even windmill on a defensive trait. So these guys are not too difficult. You might even be able to one-hit smash them. Okay, I guess not with my rank F. Use windmill because he's very close, and windmill is an easy attack to get off real quickly there. So as long as you're on your toes with goblins, and you make sure to wait, the biggest thing is to wait for the next one to aggro you, because if you attack another one before any of them aggro you, the one that was going to aggro you may still aggro you, and that will create a double aggro situation, which is never fun and to any extent of the imagination. And yeah, so you want to avoid that. There hasn't been, we've only got goblins, which is something kind of strange, because usually there's rats. Okay, here's the goblin archers. You definitely want to go for the archers first, because there's fewer of them, first of all. And they will also double aggro you and get you from a range distance, and it's just no fun in general. So I'm trying to make sure I can see the whole room here. That guy aggroed me, but as long as I'm quick enough... Oh, he's in counter, so we can deal with him. Now all the archers are dead, so that danger is safe. If worse comes to worse, I was going to try to windmill both goblins, the archer I was fighting and the warrior coming at me. With rank F windmill and the lower range that comes with that, that would probably have been a little difficult, so I'll probably start trying to use pets to help me with the multi-aggro, or the double aggro rather, between archers and meleeers. Also, an interesting thing is that the Dunbarton part-time job for Holy Water, the church part-time job, will occasionally ask for 3 apples. And there are apple trees around Dunbarton that you can go hit and collect those. However, if you want to like pick up 3 apples, because goblins drop them fairly often in Ciar, if you want to pick up those apples and have like 3 of them on your inventory, on your person, then if you're ever in Dunbarton and you go to the part-time job and just happens to be apples, you have your part-time job done right there. And if you have a pet to store a couple apples in, that can also be very useful. So that's just a nice little thing you can do if you're running Ciar anyway. Of course, it's faster probably to, if you get the part-time job and you have no apples, just to go hit trees. If you already have some apples on you, can very nice. Okay, here's some rats. These are nothing you haven't seen before if you run Albi, which if you run the beginner missions, you should have probably done. Or at least, yeah, I believe even in G1, before you get to Wizard Note, you run some sort of Albi, even if it is in a roleplay. So, dual swords for humans are really nice because you can get in a lot of hits and do a lot of damage, even if you have low maximum and minimum damage in your stats. You'll still be able to hit like up to 6 times, so it really helps. In this case, smash doesn't really help incredibly much because you'll just do more damage with your normal attack than you will smash. So it won't really matter that you smash. The best thing to use smash for in this case is defense. However, if you start ranking smash and you get up to like 200 or 300% damage, then smash starts becoming more useful than your normal attack because you can just do more damage with it. That's a little different for criticals. You have more chance to critical with multiple hits. However, smash critical may do more damage still, depending on your situation. That may not ever be true, but it's possible. So just want to put that out there. However, for a beginning human, dual swords is really the way to go. I mean, I'm even dual wielding these short swords right here, which definitely aren't the most powerful swords, and I'm getting along quite fine. Alright, so there's archers over there, far away from me, but they could aggro me basically any time. Yep, see, now I have 3 aggroed on me because I hit one and was, okay, this is going to be difficult. So I'm going to counter this guy, or try to counter that guy. My horse saved me from that. Survive this Asher Goddess. Alright. So there you can see I was fighting 3 different things at once, and that's not very easy to do at all, especially with low skills. If I had a high ranked windmill, I probably could take out all those enemies all at once. But since I do not have that, it's going to be a bit more challenging. Now, it appears the archer is still aggroed onto me, or at least my horse. See, I'll dis-summon that, and they both lost aggro on my horse. Since I teleported it out of the room, it kind of messed with the rhythm of things. Now I'm going to kind of get away from that guy, make sure. It appears he took care of the rest of the archers, so that is good. Now we are just fighting the warriors. But if you shift-click an enemy, here I'll show you that with my eagle. If you shift-click an enemy, your pet will go attack it. So that's one way you can have your pet help you out. Or if you right-click and do attack with pet, it'll also do that. So either way you can do that, and the shift-click makes it pretty easy to do it quickly. However, you can control and right-click, and that provides a little bit more accuracy, so you know exactly which enemy the pet's going after. Because if you shift-click, you could shift-click the wrong enemy and get your pet going the wrong direction. The second floor of Ciar Normal is generally very short. As you can see right here, there's only a couple rooms. The third floor, however, is more like the first floor, and is longer, and yeah, there's that. So there's goblins pre-spawned in that room. Since I'm already low health, I probably won't take the risk and attack them, or I may do that just to get some better practice. Because even though I've been playing Mabinogi for a while, it's been a long time since goblins have ever been able to do significant damage to me. So it's kind of hard to get back in the swing of things with goblins. I mean, you wouldn't think theoretically, but since I don't have charge or evasion, which are skills I normally have, I'll do that. Okay, so here are poison goblins, but they're much the same. Oh wow, there's okay. This is gonna be bad. This is bad. I am triple aggroed. Okay, I'm gonna get Magnum. Yep, there we go. Okay, so I'm losing blessings on my stuff. At least nothing's dropping, so I'm just gonna write the last statue. Now, poison goblins, I guess, tend to be much more aggressive. Or some such. Okay. So that archer can't get me, so he's trying to get through the door to get to me. And they can aggro you through the door like that goblin just did. So this is going to be pretty tough. I'm going to summon my horse, so that when I go into the room, he's right there. I'm going to attack this guy, send my horse after the other one. And then attack this guy because he's closest and most likely to aggro me again. And then that guy attack me, I'll send my horse after him, and now we're getting a handle on the situation. Now I'll have my horse attack that other archer, so he doesn't aggro me while I am attacking this one. Send my horse after that one, and we're good. Alright, so I'm going to have my horse come over to me. Well, it'll just do that automatically. But let's change its AI to auto attack mode. Right now it's set to collaborative attack mode, so whatever I attack, it attacks, which can mess up your combos pretty easily. So I don't want him to do that. I'm gonna have him auto attack, so he'll usually attack the nearest enemy, and he'll attack by himself, and that will be a lot more useful. You can also send him to healing mode, but then they won't attack anything, or command mode, and then they won't do anything unless they unless you tell them to. Now it looks like we can't entirely skip this room because we have some mimics, so I don't want the goblins aggroing me while I'm attacking the mimics. So I guess I will dispatch them post-haste. Now level up was really well timed. You can see it replenished all of my HP and my wounds that I had. I believe I've explained wounds before, but basically I'll explain them now just because they're popping up. Oh, that was splash damage if you didn't notice. I actually hit both goblins at the same time with the same slash. Different weapons have different angles and radiuses of splash damage, so two-handed swords and like two-handed hammers usually have the biggest splash damage. And I actually got the key right there, but I'm gonna kill these mimics because they are mimic performer scrolls are pretty good money, and then usually assault slash will windmill them to death. So I think assault slash will be cooldown by the time I get over there. And let's pick up this stuff. Any rate, so yeah, splash damage, you can get multiple enemies with one slash, and that can both be helpful and a hindrance. Sometimes they'll make more enemies aggro you than you'd rather have on you, and sometimes it can kill more than one enemy, especially if there's a critical. Splash damage is reduced though. Unless you upgrade the weapon, it can be reduced quite a lot, so it won't do very much damage to those people, even with a critical. Those monsters catch in splash damage. You should still do full damage to the monster you're hitting. Now, I'm going to show you a quick mimic trick if you don't want to kill all the mimics. You can see that when I load windmill, it has the execute sign thing, and if I hover over a mimic, it will change to a fist. However, if I hover over a chest and it doesn't change to a fist, that means it's a chest and not a mimic. So that's a useful thing to know if you want to get through a mimic pick fairly quickly. Yeah, so I was talking about not deadly, I was talking about wounds. And wounds basically will lower your maximum amount of HP that you're able to heal to, and until you recover those wounds, you won't be able to heal to your maximum HP with just potions or healing. You have to use bandages and the first aid skill, or someone will have to use that on you. And about the first aid skill is most effective when you're sitting down. However, you can't use it on yourself when you're sitting down, so there's no use sitting down if you're gonna heal yourself. However, if someone's healing you, it's more beneficial to sit down, because then I believe first aid is twice as effective. Either that or it's half as effective when you're standing up. Either way, it's more effective to some degree when you are sitting down. Gold Mimic Scroll. Ciar Dungeon is actually a fairly good money-making dungeon because of the Goblin Warriors scrolls are worth 3k for a stack. Mimics are worth 6k stack, and they can drop a fair decent amount of gold just by themselves. Alright, so we're coming in a room of poison goblins and archers here. I'm going to summon my horse. He's going to help us with this thing. Oh, no, it decided to attack that one. Alright, so it's just going to go wild and attack things. He's kind of making a mess of it. It attacked everything, so it kind of absorbed a lot of the aggro I probably would have been dealing with, so that's good. But now I only have 2 goblins left, so I believe I can handle these guys myself. So he's gonna try to smash him and counterattack, which should counteract the smash and send the damage back to him. Counterattack on a smash is also pretty useful because counterattack works off a percentage. So the more damage you get thrown at you, the more damage you throw back with counter. Alright, so my horse definitely helped me with that. Pets can be very aggressive on auto attack mode. As you just saw, he's kind of went around whacking goblins a lot, but since goblins have fairly low health, pets can deal with them fairly easily also. The thoroughbred has more melee attacks than the eagle, and it can also run faster on the ground, so the thoroughbred would probably be best for goblins. However, the eagle is a bit more sturdy, I believe, in combat. So for things that will take more hits, it might be better to do the eagle. Neither pet has very good defense or health, so if a goblin actually does score a hit on the pet, it's not going to be too good. Alright. Counter. Oh, he got a hit off me, and my horse got him. Alright. I need to turn off these daily tips. Oh, no. Okay. My horse went for that one because I was the nearest goblin. He was about to use Magnum, which can do a lot of damage if you have low health and low defense. So you want to try to avoid getting Magnum. It does, however, take longer for them to load up and fire at you. So that is at least one good thing about it. On these normal goblins, I don't want my horse killing itself. So I can fight these because these will most likely just chain aggro, and I can deal with that. The hard part about poison goblins and melee archer combos is that there's just a lot of aggro to go around, and they'll multi-aggro you fairly quickly and fairly easily. That is where pets will save you. As you can see, it makes it much easier if you have a pet run around helping you dish out damage. And I probably should, again, that was a fairly risky move after the Assault Slash. I don't have quite a very fast charging Ice Bolt. And, so that they could have hit me, but after Assault Slash, it seems goblins like to load skills. Oh, he's in defense, so I could have probably hit him if I was fast enough, but just to be safe, I'm going to use Smash, which after an Ice Bolt, it was enough to kill him. That may not be the case all the time, because I don't have the highest balance. I haven't talked about balance, so I guess I'll talk about that a little bit. Actually, I have 80% balance. You can see I tend to hit 34, 35 fairly often. However, occasionally I hit a random number, like there's a 37 and a 33. Those are a bit different than 35, 34. And the higher balance you have, the more normal your damage will be. You'll hit about the same damage each time. See, now I'm hitting like 37, 39. Those are probably on the higher end of my damage spectrum. I have 41, so yeah, 39 is only 200 max damage, and I would guess that goblins have some sort of defense because they have shields. However, that may not necessarily be the case. I could look it up on the wiki to be certain, but if they had like 1 or 2 defense, I wouldn't be surprised. That's why I haven't hit above 39 yet. I say there's a 25, so that was on the lower end of my damage spectrum. No matter how good your balance is, you'll always hit low numbers now and then. But generally, if you find your damage is super wild, you're going to want to look at your balance, and that will help you hit higher in your damage more. I actually think the Mabinogi balance formula actually shifts whether your normal, like the average amount of damage you do are, and like 80%, it's like 80% of your damage range, I believe, is something how it works. So basically, the higher balance you have, the better off you are. The specifics aren't exactly simple, and but if you find yourself doing crazy amounts of damage, high and low, you're gonna look at balance. But if you're using a blunt weapon, that's how blunt weapons work, because they have low damage and high ranges. So swords are generally going to be the more balanced of melee weapons. Axes technically fall into the blunt category, even though they are a separate weapon type in some respects. And then bows also have balance. However, magic balance is capped, and bows and melee are both capped at 80%. I believe it's the same for fighter and puppetry. However, magic is can actually go up to 100% balance with enough I believe, intelligence. So you can use that. So we're on the last floor here, and we're probably getting pretty near the boss. I'm going to swim my horse because it looks like I've got some long hallways run down. No, unless there's this right here. And you also find herbs in Ciar Dungeon. I don't believe you'll find those in I'll Be Normal or I'll Be Beginner, but you will find orbs, and you can use those to make potions. And you used to need mana herbs for... You will get mana herbs from the end chest in I'll Be Normal, that's correct, and probably a beginner as well. You used to need to get your own mana herbs for G1, but they give you those nowadays, so... unless you're making potions, you won't find an incredible use for herbs. And I believe I saw the boss room right over there, and I was just going to talk about that. The boss of Ciar Normal is the same as Ciar Wizard Note, and that is a golem. A fully fledged golem, not a small golem that you'll find in Ciar Beginner. But, oop, oh, he got me. Now, see if I can hit all these guys again. Windmill can be upgraded. Oh, fancy that. I just might upgrade that. Windmill can get fairly difficult to rank at higher levels because it's very CP reliant, and it needs strong enemies. And if you get your character super strong, the enemies that are strong to you, as rated by when you press Alt, and you see these are awful to this character presently. There's the boss key, right on time. And even though we have the boss key and I saw the boss room over there, we're probably still going to need to go through this room to unlock that door. And so, oh, here's red spiders, which are actually boss to this character. However, oh, they could potentially survive a full combo. So you're going to want to have defense or counter ready. Bolts sell for a decent amount, so if you have inventory room, you might as well pick them up. They stack to 200, and you can get about 50 or so gold, something like that, off a full stack. Not too incredibly much, but a pretty good amount for new players. Any rate, the boss is going to be a fully fledged golem, in addition to 6 metal skeletons, which you won't find again until you run rabbing it to the last floor. So those are interesting. The thing about skeletons is they're hybrids in that they have both a sword and a bow. So you're gonna have some sort of ranged method or some way to beat range, like charge. But in order for that, you're gonna need to have a shield and the actual charge skill. But beyond that, you're gonna want some sort of range method. So you can either pack a bow and arrows with you, although at low ranks this can be fairly unreliable for quick hitting. So I would recommend Ice Bolt in that situation. And as you'll see, I'm going to use Ice Bolt to lure the skeletons, and then there we go. Learn Knuckle Mastery from equipping Knuckles. Alright, so I bought these Knuckles from Fergus. I bought them to test out a theory. Before the dynamic combat system, counter used to have no cooldown and just a load up time, and you could use a combination of Firebolt and counter, and basically solo a golem that way. You had to be fairly quick with loading them, but you could just alternate Firebolt and counter, and basically you'd use Firebolt, knock the golem down, he'd run at you, and then you'd counter him. And then you load Firebolt up as soon as you knocked him back. And that would be that. And you just do that until the golem's dead. The golem does have lots of health, so that does take a while. And if you mess up once, you will get hit and probably not like the result of getting hit. Now these goblins are slowly aggroing me. I'm guessing that one's going to come at me next. There is one more archer over there. I'm going to send my horse after him, because archers can just be a pain, as you've seen, especially with your aggro. My horse can help me finish it off, these guys. Now, your pets can also help you on the boss battle very much. They can be fairly, what's the word? Aggressive, I said earlier, towards the boss. And we have the boss key, so we're ready to go in here. I'm just going to say a couple things. About fire counter, I brought Knuckles because Knuckles reduce the cooldown time on counter. So I guess if I don't actually have something to counter, it won't actually do anything. But so I can't show you the cooldown. But it's slower with Knuckles equipped. So I'm going to equip those as my weapon. It does lower. Actually, it brings in my damage a bit tighter. It gives you more critical, which would be useful. But I just bought these for like 1,630 gold at Fergus in Turkano. And so they should be fairly useful against the golem, I believe, to do fire counter. However, I'm going to try to kill the skeletons first. That way I only have the golem to deal with on its lonesome. Alright, so here's the mini show. It'll just basically show the golem and the skeletons. And I'm going to quit recording because occasionally after mini shows, traps will crash. And, the skeletons get up and be all fancy. You can see they have their sword, and on their back they have their bow and quiver. And so you're generally going to want to have some sort of range method, like I said. And Ice Bolt's very useful for that, especially because after an Ice Bolt, the enemies like to aggro you. Had to quit recording real quick there to make sure it didn't crash. So the golem's actually pretty far over there. And so I'm going to try to get either that skeleton or that skeleton. And you can see their boss to me, which is the highest rank an enemy can be. As far as boss, awful, strong, normal, weak, weakest. So he's using range, but he won't be able to hit me through the stone wall. So he's going to kind of run towards me. Or walk towards me. He looks like he got stuck on the corner. Except for you have to aim range, which is why he didn't hit me when I went around there. He may not actually get in here unless I lead him over. I'm going to stun him a bit, and then get back into here. And then use counter. There we go. Okay, he's using smash again, so I'm going to use counter. I'm bringing out my swords because I trust them as a better weapon. And you can also counteract smash with a normal attack, and that's very useful to counteract it with a normal combo, because you can get more damage in if your smash isn't very high rank. He's almost dead. Should be able to ice bolt him, and 1 down, 5 to go. So there are 6 metal skeletons and 1 stone golem. Although it's probably should be called a golem, even though this may not stone. So I'm basically leading them all the way into this other room, because the golem can detect you and aggro you from a fair distance out. So I'm gonna run behind here, so they can't quite aim. As soon as he does that, I'm going to do this, and he's gonna run at me. He might get stuck on that corner again, like that last one. However, this might be a slow process, but it's much better than getting aggroed by the golem. Alright, now he's using defense. It's a good time to use smash against him, so I'm not going to go too far out of this room, because I don't want the golem to aggro me. That's what happened in the last thing, and the golem aggroed me before I finished off the skeletons, and overall it just was not a fun time. So I'm going to use Ice Bolt, and then a normal attack combo to damage these guys, because it's fairly reliable. As long as you're quick enough, you can do it fairly easily. And Ice Bolt used barely any mana at all at rank F, and I already have 65 mana just from having rank F magic skills. And so that one's fairly close to the golem, so hopefully he moves. Those ones are fairly far from the door, which may pose another problem. The one thing about carrying a bow for luring these skeletons in is that I believe, especially if you get a longbow, you'll have a lot more range on it. So you can hit him from farther away and not get detected by the golem as easily. So a combination of Ice Bolt and normal attack will help you without getting hit, so you don't have to resort to defense. Because last time, if you have rank F defense and not very much defense to begin with, due to your clothes and armor, they can critical and basically kill you through your defense, which is not fun, especially when defense is supposed to protect you from dying. So you're gonna want to use counter and windmill if an occasion arises such that you do need if I can lead him in here. If you do need to use an up close and personal counterattack and windmill are probably your best options if you have to load something quickly. If you have a bit more time, Ice Bolt's pretty good because you can do that in addition to your normal attack to do more damage. You could use counter and windmill, but you basically just have to alternate those two because neither of them really give you an opportunity to attack, unless you use Salt Slash after one of them, and then you might have some good. So I am going to Ice Bolt this guy and run away from that golem as fast as I possibly can. If it does aggro me, one bonus of going towards the door is that I can hide behind it, and just like the skeletons can't attack me through the wall, neither can the golem, even with its stomp move. Skeletons are fairly simple enemies, really. They'll usually chain aggro you unless you attack more than one of them at any single time, or while one is already aggroed on you. I'm getting lag, so he got a free hit in due to lag. That is no fair. Okay, he's gonna smash me, so I'm just gonna go in for a full normal combo. You could use counterattack, however, a normal combo will, or windmill for that matter, a normal combo will do more damage in the long run. Alright, so now that he's defeated, I only have one more skeleton left. I probably could go for the golem now, and if as long as I was far enough away from the skeleton, it wouldn't aggro me, but I'm going to try to play it safe. And while I'm attacking the skeleton, the golem might aggro me. So I'm going to get as far away from it as possible, but I'm going to have to get somewhat close to it, because I have to get this guy. Now I'm going to run. You could use a pet, and try to lure them. And if you press, if you say "come" with an exclamation point at the end of it, that will come to you. So you can send the pet after a skeleton, and then tell it to come at you, and the skeleton should follow the pet. But anyway, skeletons only really have range skills, range and magnum, normal range attack and magnum shot. And they also have smash, defense, windmill, and counter. So a lot of the same stuff you do, they have no magic though. So you can count that as a blessing. If I can assault slash and finish this guy off. Alright, now we're at the golem. So I'm going to use Knuckles here because fire counter worked in the past, and as long as I can get the cooldowns to work now, it should be fairly easy. I'm actually going to put counter on 1 here and put fire bolts on 2 so that I can alternate them really easily with just those 2 keys instead of having to go to 5 and F12 would have it on now. Now I could normal attack the golem, but since it's fairly close to the wall, I don't want it to be, I want it to have like the most time to recover and get to me as possible. So normal attack, I'll have to get close, plus it won't knock the golem back very far. However, firebolt will knock the golem back more, and also allow me to attack from a distance. So I'm going to attack it, and then run backwards, so I can get some distance. You don't want to be running with stomp, though, because that will make the stomp hit you easier. Now, as soon as he hits me, I'm going to load firebolt, and whack, and shoot it with him as soon as that stomp might hit me. Yep, it did hit me. Now I'm going to use some potions. I'm still in counterattack, though. Oh, he's in defense, so I'm going to smash him. Oh, I have no stamina. Guard. This is bad. This is bad. Alright. It seems that counter with Knuckles burns lots of stamina. That's what I thought. I thought since I had rank F, it wouldn't burn it very much. So I'm going to have to throw stamina potions into the works of my combo here. But simple firebolt and counter should work as long as I keep my stamina up. Seems I have enough for 2 counters before my stamina runs out. So I can use that 3 that time. Oh, guard. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I somehow got into a normal combo. That's fine with me. But now I'm getting back into counter. Now I'm going to smash. I'm going to use a sand potion after that, though. And then, so basically, the only problem with this strategy is that counter burns lots of stamina if you sit in it too long, as well as burns lots of stamina when you load it with Knuckles. You see my stamina slowly drain there. So if I stay in it too long, sometimes golems will just go into stomp spam, and if that happens, you're gonna want to be you're gonna want to be wary of that, though. That they do. Oh, I forgot to load firebolt. Almost caught me with the stomp there. Oh, he did catch me with the stomp there. He's in smash. I'm definitely on a critical. Counterattack. He's in windmill. I don't know if golems have fairly large windmill range. You don't want to get too close to them when they're in windmill. If you're quick enough when they use defense, you can get it off a smash, which will add to my. Oh, I don't have. As long as you have a good enough of your maximum health up, you'll go into deadly with golems because they do a fair amount of. Oh, he's gonna stop me. Yep, into deadly. So I'm basically chugging potions really fast here, but I kind of have to keep up with the golem. They're fairly hard, and this strategy. I forgot to load firebolt after that counter. Okay, there we go. Using smash while knock him back, so I can use a stamina potion. 2. This strategy is fairly easy if you're quick enough with your potions. You can even hotkey your potions to more clickable, more easily clickable, or more easily hit positions, hotkey positions, so that you can use them also. Okay, I should have enough counter for one more. I should have stamina for one more counter. Of course, he wants to keep using defense. They cancel it fairly quickly though, so you want to be wary of that. Oh, I forgot to load Firebolt. But you load counter. You can load defense. Firebolt counter is an old standby, but you really can't do it if you're using swords. You basically have to have Knuckles available for this method. And as you can see, it drains stamina fairly quickly. So you're going to be wary of that. That's just a drawback to it. However, Firebolt counter basically keeps the golem at a nice distance from you and prevents you from taking a copious amount of damage from... Because golems hit fairly high, and so they will hit you through defense and do a fair amount of damage when they hit you in defense. Make sure I have stamina potions. And I'll wait for him to load another skill. He didn't load a skill, he went normal attack. But because counter loads instantly now... Oh, that was close. So you have some time on the Firebolt. However, you generally want to do it right as you're countering, so even before you finish the animation. But this strategy will work as long as you're vigilant on your potions and you're paying attention to what the golem's doing. It might take some practice. However, like I said, this is Ciar Normal, and it has the same exact boss as Ciar Wizard Note. But you could easily take some friends, or a friend, into Ciar Normal and help you practice strategies against the golem. Oh, he's going to use Stomp, and that's going to hit me. I need to heal up. He'll probably still hit me from Stomp all over there. Okay, no he won't. Now, I'm going to summon a pet and see if I can finish off the golem, because... Or just use him to distract the golem. The thing about Knuckles is they do have a 5-hit combo by themselves, and so if you... Oop, oh, okay, this is not good. I might die. Nope, okay, there it goes. Let's not hit me. Okay, I use all my stamina, so hopefully it runs at me, because I don't have time to load anything else. And there goes the golem. Alright, so that was a fairly tough battle. I used like half of both my stacks of potions to do that. However, I did not die, which is kind of the goal, find a boss. If you do die though, all you have to do is respawn at the statue, run all the way back through the dungeon, and continue to fight the golem. However, golems do have a rest skill, which will let them regenerate HP a little bit. So if you let them sit there too long, you might have to fight him with more HP back, which isn't exactly desirable. So we got a fair amount of gold from this. We started with like a bit under 20k, and now we have 34k. So Ciar can be a fairly good dungeon for money making. However, if we went to buy back the potions we used, it may not be quite as profitable. But if you get stronger, you can run Ciar more efficiently. However, this video was designed to show you how to run Ciar on a low-level character with low-level skills, so that you could run it for G1 no matter what level you are. And that was a much better run than my previous one, and I hope you learned something from it. Basically, the main strategy on the boss was to use Firebolt counter and just alternate those and load the one as soon as the other was finished, as soon as you launch the other. And use Knuckles because that lessens the cooldown on counterattack. So that allows you to use fire counter fairly effectively, except that the counter takes lots of stamina with Knuckles equipped. So you're going to need to make sure you have a nice stash of stamina potions to continue that strategy. If you use swords, you're not going to be able to fire counters easily. And the golems have a hitbox larger than your windmill radius, so you're not really going to be able to use windmill very easily to counterattack it. The strategy I used for the skeletons, the ice bolt, and the normal attack won't necessarily work on golems either, because they have magic passive defense. And what magic passive defense does, well, passive defense does in general, is it lessens the stun from the type of attack, and also lessens the damage. The highest level of passive defense can actually make all forms of that attack style, whether it be melee, range, or magic, to 1, and have basically no stun at all on the monster. Golems seem to limit magic damage, at least somewhat decently, and the stun is pretty significantly reduced. So the Ice Bolt normal attack method will probably not work on the Golem, and basically the easiest way is just to have Knuckles and to use Fire Counter, because that's a fairly safe method as long as you keep track of your stamina. And like I said, that was just Ciar Normal, which is like Ciar Wizard Note, but a little bit longer. It has the same enemies, except for a Wizard Note doesn't have the poison goblins. So all in all, Ciar Normal is actually a bit harder. So if you can run Ciar Normal, you should have no problem with Ciar Wizard Note. However, the thing about Ciar Normal is that you could bring some friends along to help you out in the dungeon, so that you can get some practice without going through all the trouble of soloing the dungeon yourself. One very good tip is to use your pets that you get free from the beginner quests to help you fight. My pets aren't extremely high level, and also I did buy plenty of Phoenix Feathers so that I could revive my pets. However, they fought fairly well and didn't need too much reviving. Do I have the healing skill? I do not have the healing skill, so I could heal my pet, or you could feed him potions. You can easily do that by either dragging the potion onto him, and that'll feed him, or you can right click and feed pet, and then select what you want to feed them. But as I was saying, my horse is only level 3, and it has more damage than I do, and more HP as well, more stamina, less mana, but it doesn't really use mana. So at any rate, pets are a very nice ally to have, especially in Ciar Wizard Note, because you have to solo that dungeon. You can only bring yourself and your pets, so it's quite useful for that. But hopefully this video helps you to run Ciar more effectively. I did die a couple times, but that's definitely to be expected, especially on a low-level character. So don't be ashamed of dying, and overall don't give up. You will eventually get through it, quite hopefully, unless all of your stuff drops, and then you have to get them all back from Lost and Found, and that's probably about the worst that can happen. However, some things like the helmet I had in the Let's Play are fairly expensive. It's 21k to get out of Lost and Found, but most beginner stuff should be a bit cheaper. I'm not entirely certain about this armor or the other armor you get. Those might be a bit more expensive to get, or it might be cheaper. I'm not entirely sure. But something like short swords, or like this hat I bought for like 6k, will be fairly cheap to get back out of there. So you don't need to worry too bad. And then you always have these beginner snail soul stones, which as long as you're under total level 100, should renew every day, up to 3 of them, I believe. I could be wrong about that. And that's every real day, not every Mabinogi day, because I believe I spent over at least a day in that dungeon, and I didn't get another one. So it's most likely every real day. I'm not entirely certain because I haven't used them before. However, if you are in a dire position and you drop, say, your weapons, which would be something you want to keep, because without your weapons, your damage will be significantly lowered. And if you get to a point where you lose your weapons, you may want to just restart the dungeon, heal up, get more supplies, and go back in and do that. However, again, I hope this video helped. I tried to fit as much advice as I could into it so that you could successfully solo Wizard Note for Generation 1. However, if you have any questions, feel free to comment. I will be glad to answer them, and if you need something shown more, I'll even make a video response to your questions if that's something useful. Thank you for watching again. If you want to check out my other stuff, I have my live streams every Saturday at 5 p.m. PST. I have my Let's Plays for Generation 1. I have my Mabinogi 101 series, which goes over the basics of Mabinogi and tries to explain as much as I can about certain topics. If you have any topics or suggestions for my videos, feel free to put those in the comments also. And if you have any question about the game in general, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video helps. Have fun playing Mabinogi.